ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So as we have been discussing, this is Shiva Samhita, which really keeps unfolding very well. So we saw this first chapter, verse number 1 was the prayer verse, of course in a different way, in a very different way. And verse number 2, starting the text and what is the purpose. And of course, what is all about this text talks, second and third verse. And from fourth verse onwards, we saw from 4 to 16. So it talked about differences of opinion, how each one talks differently. That also we saw in details. So after discussing, now once we saw this, then say few verses 17, 18 and 19, 3 verses spoke. So what is the purpose of yoga? So here yoga means not this practicing yoga as such, what people understand, what people know. So here yoga means the knowledge, that reuniting, re-understanding that I am not different from God, the totality. So that process is called yoga is here. However, then from verse number 20 onwards, it talks about karma kanda. We are already verse number 28. So few more verses are there, up to 31 it will continue. So let us see verse number 28 once more. As we were discussing, just summarizing very quickly about this karma kanda, as we discussed very clearly, that if you look at the content of Veda, the content of Veda is divided into 2 categories. So one category is called karma kanda, ritualistic portion. Other part of Veda is called jnana kanda, upanishadic or teaching part, knowledge portion. And also we discussed that karma kanda again divided into 2 parts. One is vidhi, other one is nishedha, to be done and not to be done. Then of course also we discussed in details that if you do vidhi, punyam comes. If you don't do vidhi, also papam comes, or there is some dosham. And nishedha karma, especially what is not to be done, if you do, also you incur papam. Then of course he said that vidhi karma to be done again divided into 3 categories: nitya karma, namitika karma and kamya karma. So nitya karma, by doing it you do not gain anything, but if you don't do, definitely you incur papam. Then comes nitya karma, after nitya karma, naivitika karma and kamya karma. So naivitika karma and kamya karma, by performing you gain. And of course, especially naivitika karma, if you don't perform, also some issues will come, but if you perform, definitely you are going to gain. And kamya karma, of course, for a purpose, that is what is optional, based on your desire, you do it. Generally a sadhaka, generally the person who wants to grow up emotionally, that person tries to avoid, tries to withdraw, tries to really keep this kamya karma, this definitely desired action or working for a goal, purpose to be avoided. Kamya karma is always being avoided by a sadhaka. But nitya karma and naimitika karma cannot be compromised. Also we saw that beautifully, when you do all these things, this is papam, punyam, 2 things comes result. Karma has got karma phala. All the karma phala put together into 2 categories. One is papam, other one is punyam. So he said beautifully that if you know papam and punyam, because of punya phala, you go to Swarga. And if you look at Papa Phalam, sorry, what is happening today? There is no water. Fantastic. Sorry. So if you look at Papam, so that means the Papa brings Narak, Punya brings Swarga. And here we also discussed in details. So Naraka means that where you are getting different type of difficulties and you suffer. And Swarga is nothing but where you get all sort of means to enjoy so that you experience better. And beautifully was being highlighted that all these people, we Jantus, we are tied up, we are completely entangled with this papam and punyas. And because of that reason, what happens, please understand, we also keep taking birth again and again. And of course, papa karma vasat dukkham, punya karma vasat sukham, tasmat sukharti vividham, punya prakrute dhruvam. That was the last, and 28 will come, 27. So as you know, that if you come across any bitter experience in your life, it is because of your parpa karma, whether this life or from previous lives. Of course, mainly from previous life if it is chronic, if it is really difficult. So, and also remember, anything good happens to you if you are enjoying your life, if you are in a better position, if you have better means, better things, that means it is because of your punya karma that you have done in your previous life or you are doing now, even though mainly related to previous life. That's why what you need to do, if really you want to enjoy more, if really you want to be composed and contented more, if really you want to be happy and comfortable more and more, better punyam prakrute, may you spend time doing or incurring or earning more and more punya. After discussing this, 28 verse said, Papa bhoga vasane tu punarjanmam bhavet khalu, punya bhoga vasane tu nanyatha bhavati. Understanding this point, this was a really beautiful point to say that we have a confusion with reference to daily experiences and of course the religious confusion, both. The day-to-day confusion is this, that when a person goes through difficulties, thinks that it is a never-ending process. This is the confusion. And other side, the one who is enjoying or when you are enjoying, when things are conducive, you also forget that it is going to come to an end. That's why you behave very funny. And of course you become arrogant, all sort of things happens in your life. And religious confusion is here. This is called personal conflict. Personal confusion, religious confusion is, so if you do punyam, if you believe in me, you will go to heaven and you will live in heaven permanently. So what you will do there, don't worry, we will be discussing in the next verse. What will happen? And you will live in permanent heaven. And if you don't believe in me, if there is no faith in me, please understand, you will go to hell again, that is permanent. Now when this two permanent concept comes, now there is a lot of worries and anxiety. So here really is it, then it becomes easier and convincing for your intellect. Like when I am in depression, when I am in confusion, how that time passes slowly, that emotionally you get completely confused. So that's why you try to attach yourself with the religious confusion emotionally. And they do take care of you very carefully emotionally. But here he says, don't worry. Papa bhoga avasane, that we had seen, I am repeating it here. Papa bhoga avasane tu punarjanam bhavet khalu. Even if you are in hell, even if you are in different yonis, please understand, you have to be very careful with reference to this aspect. Even if you are in different, let us say, you are in different yoni, means you can get into different life. So one can be a stone, one can be a tree, of course animal, anything one can become. And of course one can hang for some time. And of course different type of descriptions are there. All sort of, let us say, painful situation that you go through. But he says, once that package is over, so once that package is over, definitely you will take, or you will get another body, you will take birth. So that means you don't have to worry, really you don't have to be really too much worried, oh it's a permanent. At the same time he says, punya bhoga avasane tu nanyatha bhavati dhruva. Same thing also, even if you get a good body, celestial body, or even if you are in heaven, so where you have got better opportunity to enjoy or to experience in a better way. But don't worry, again when that punyam will be exhausted, so at the exhaustion of your punyam, again you will come down. Means again you have to take birth. There is no choice. So that means all these experiences is just a passing phenomena. And remember also, Surga is not that much interesting. That is what the next verse highlights. Let us read. Verse number 29. Surgepi dukha sambhogaha parasri darsanadisho tattva dukkhamidam sarvam bhave natyatra samsayah. It says beautifully, in Surga, in heaven, also there is a problem. There is a pain. Remember this. In fact, in heaven, people are more uncomfortable. They have more painful situation than in hell. I will give you, two examples. Beautifully, you can observe this point. This is what nobody talks. Already we have discussed these stories. The one story goes about the heaven. That is what is being discussed very nicely. We have a popular story. And in India, all over the world now also, these kathakaras, storytellers, they are very popular. And slowly they become Avatara Purusha. They become incarnation. So they start with it, storytelling, means basically entertainment. All over India it is there, don't worry. And they have bigger setups, many followers. You cannot think of, you cannot imagine. Even if like some of them are in the jail, still they are being considered as Avatara Purusha. However, when they do katha, so there was a kathakara, there was a storyteller person. So he was having this thinking that when I die, I will go to heaven. So that means, because I have done so much, I have made people to think of God, I made them to chant God's name, I have really spent their time with God. And of course, nearer to his house, where he was having ashram or setup or whatever, there was a person who was an auto driver. And especially either it is Chennai auto driver or Delhi auto driver, makes no difference. The way they negotiate, the way they go, you will get really scared. You do not know what to do. Then of course, as time passes, this storyteller Kathakara died. And of course he went to heaven. So after going to heaven, he settled down. After settling down, he saw nearer to his place, there is another huge bungalow. There are more servants, more means of enjoyment than him. So he got really curious. Who is that person? If I have done this much and I got only this much, So that means this person must have done much more than me. So who is that person? Let me go and associate, let me see. And he goes to that house as usual, looks at, okay, happy, so I would like to see the boss. And of course, when he saw the boss, he could recollect the boss was none other than the auto driver who was his neighbor during his katha time. He got shocked. He said, "This is not acceptable. How is it possible?" And of course, he raised his complaint. So when his complaint was heard, he said, "No, maybe by mistake something has happened. Maybe I am supposed to go there. He is supposed to come here. Because I am such a religious person, I don't want to fight or anything else. I want to compromise. So maybe let me go there and let him come here." Of course, the final body said, "No, it is right. Wherever he is there. You cannot change." How is it possible? The story goes, yes, you made people to think of God, to repeat the name of God, who are already, let us say, those who are already thinking of God, and you made them to think. And of course, you injected a lot of sense of guilt, many other things you have done. Whereas this person, while driving the auto, drove in such a way, so whoever was passing by, or wherever he is passing through, everybody was scared out of their fear or whatever. So he used to call, "Oh God, please save. Oh God, please save." And if we look at the way he has injected the God thoughts in other people, is much more than, the number is much more than that number you have created. That's why he deserves best place. Remember, this is a story, okay? Don't look at too much. So what I am trying to say here is, this is what is being highlighted. Swargepi sukha sambhogah parasri darsanayadisu. So when you see that other person is able to enjoy more towards other person in different religion, in Indian context, Rambha Urvasi Menaka is coming, or towards others not coming. Or in other religion, towards that person more wine comes, not towards me. Now each religion talks differently. Now when you discover that that person is more affluent, more able to enjoy, or more means are available, definitely there will be some type of jealous. There will be some type of conflict in you. That is what in our Puranas always it is being highlighted. Indra, the god of heavens, always insecure. There is always fear in him. If anybody does ghor tapas, though anybody does very strong austerity, now he is scared because he is afraid of maybe this person is doing this much austerity to take over my post. Because the God of gods knows also that is a post. So that is what is being highlighted very nicely, carefully. That don't worry. So even if you go to Surga, there is some dukkham. It is not free from all dukkham. At least that boredom will come. That's why I will say another story. That's what this journalist story. And you know, journalists are always find out new way, new means, how to go, how to approach, how to go about it. So there was a journalist. He passed away. And he was very much willing to go to heaven. And he knocked the door. And of course, the doorkeeper said, "Yes, actually you are eligible to go to heaven, but unfortunately, like Earth, especially like India, we follow here quota system. So your journalism quota is over. So if any journalist leaves this heaven, if they are punyam or something, they take adjusted or they take a voluntary retirement or whatever, then you are eligible to stay." He said, "Okay, if it is so, will you please give me few minutes to talk to this journalist?" He said, "Yes, absolutely, no problem, you can. That you are allowed." And of course he went and he came after some of them, and all of them were tough journalists. They have left the body, but the Vasana still is continuing. And they spoke. And they said, "Hey, where are you from?" And he said, "Look, just now I came from hell." "Oh, so how is situation over there?" Actually, situation is very good. Because in hell, lot of activities happening. Unlike heaven, very boring. Now here true, we are all bored, nothing is happening. Lot of activities happening. Now actually one of the senior journalists is willing to start a television channel. And of course, newspaper, both. All print and electronic media he's going to start. And he needs really few journalists. And all of them started joining. We are going. And they came to the doorkeeper. Please send us to the hell. We are no more interested to stay. And of course, the story goes further. Then this fellow was asked, what did you say? How did you manage? He said, very simple thing. I said, look, you people are doing nothing here. Now a lot of things are going over there in hell. Better go on there. And they are so bored, doing nothing, eating and eating. And they are so bored, the moment they heard there is some opportunity to work, they just jumped. Like this is Corona lockdown. They jumped. So what I am trying to highlight in both aspects, heaven is painful. But unfortunately, the way they have said heaven is pleasurable, then further they don't allow you to ask any question. So to shut your mouth, it is permanent, so that you cannot think. But it is being highlighted here, it is not permanent. There is jealous, and moreover, lot of conflict you will have in heaven too. And so also dukkham, even if you are in heaven, even if you are in hell, still it is going to come to an end. So that means both sukham and dukkham, pain and pleasure, nothing but karma phala, which is going to come to an end. Let us look at verse number 33:0. तत्कर्म कल्पके प्रोक्तम पुण्यम पापमिति द्विधा पुण्य पापमयो बंधः देहिनां भवति क्रमात्. So beautiful. That's why after knowing these limitations of karma, says beautifully, those who are really well versed in karma theory, those who are picked up here and there something is different, those who are really well versed in karma theory, what do they say? They say very clearly that there are two types of karma. One is punya, other one is papa. So now he says beautifully, because of this punya and papa, individual gets entangled and forced to take birth again and again. That's why we all are called Mishra. It is a mixture of papam and punyam. We say human beings, please understand, human beings are Mishra. Mixture of both papam and punyam. If it is pure punyam, you will have celestial body, please understand. If you have papam, pure papam, you will have different body altogether. So because we are the mixture of papam and punyam, definitely we are Mishra, and because of that reason we are entangled, and this birth and life or death continues, and whether we like it or not, we are part of this cycle. That's why what is to be done? Beautiful point comes 31. Iha mutra phaladveshi safalam karma santyajet nitya naimitikam sangyam tyaktva yogo pravartate. So what is to be done? He says, look, when this person knows all these things, long back has already given up kamya karma. Please remember, this karma was divided, especially vidhi was being divided, vidhi karma to be done was divided into three categories: nitya, namitika and kamya. So nitya, that is to be done daily, namitika occasionally, and the kamya karma, desired action for a purpose. So this kamya karma is already given up long back for a sadhaka itself. But this nitya karma and namitika karma continues, which you cannot compromise, and you should not compromise either. As we discussed in details, by not performing nitya karma, you incur papa. By performing, you may not get anything, but not performing, definitely you are going to incur papa. So that means it has to continue, you cannot stop, not allowed, strictly. Whatever you may be, whoever you may be. Then question comes here. If I have to do this nitya and namitika karma, then where is the time for me? Always I will be busy doing something or other. So there will be not much time for me, for myself to know myself. So that is what this point is very beautifully says. That is the most important aspect. The one who has seen limitation, there is some type of dvesha bhava, there is some type of indifference attitude with reference to phalam, with reference to result of actions. That is related to now and here, and of course then and thereafter. So whether it is to the present life or it is related to heavens. So the one who has some type of indifference attitude, the one who is indifferent, that's why you say, I have put it very carefully, the one who has seen the limitations of actions and their results of actions, and of course with reference to here and there, thereafter. What should do? He says beautifully, Santyajat karma saphalam. So need to learn to renounce. So when he says not need to renounce, so there is a process, not just like that you can get rid of it. So indirectly he says not only karma, all actions in which includes nitya and namitika karma, along with that also attachment towards the result of action. And of course you need to renounce in a proper way. So what is highlighting here is you need to take a karma sannyasa. It's a complete, that's why the yoga here is sannyasa yoga. That's why I did not want to. Yoga doesn't talk about, about this yoga practice, yoga. This yoga shastra is called sannyasa shastra. So however, he says beautifully here that the person must give up, must renounce action which is called as a karma sannyasa. So that means only a karma sannyasi, a vividisha sannyasi, veditum ichha, the one who is interested to know, interested to learn, can take sannyasa ritualistically. So that once you take ritualistically sannyasa, then what happens? You are not under this nitya and namitika karma. You don't have to perform nitya and namitika karma. But who should do this thing? That's what beautiful says. The one who has seen the limitations, the one who has understood that the karma will bring some type of result, that result will give me either happiness here or thereafter, but that happiness has no value, it is limited in nature, in that happiness also there is sorrow, there is a conflict, and because of that reason I have to born again and again, it continues, keep continues renewing, and there is no end to it. Only the one who has understood, the one who has seen, the one who has really realized, you can use the word here very carefully, only that person should come for this sannyasa, so that person understands, if I take sannyasa, now I will have plenty of time for myself. And when the person does this thing, automatically nitya karma and namitika karma, whether it's agnihotra adhikam, I'm just talking about technically, whether it's a daily puja and other things, or any other things, need not to be done, but at the same time can be done for the welfare of society. That's another thing altogether. So there is nothing called nitya or namitika karma. Even if that's why for a sannyasi there is no rituals for your ancestors and other things, because whatever to be done before sannyasa. Once sannyasi is being given, nothing to be done, completely you are a free person. So then only that person, what happens, is free from all this entanglement, and that person is available mentally and physically for the self-knowledge. That's why here 2 points highlights. One is, when you want to renounce karma, you need to renounce in a proper way, and prior to that you must have maturity. And second thing also, once you renounce, you should not have longing, you need not have attachment, or there should not be any void, there should not be any sense of worries or anxieties with reference to the result of action. Oh, I made a mistake, I should have done that. Oh God, no. You understand? That means you are not ready. Don't kill your time, don't waste your time. Please do whatever. So that's why he says beautifully. So you need to have maturity. At the same time, you should be able to dissociate yourself from the result of action mentally. Then only technically you need to do certain things to allow yourself not to perform nitya and nitya karma. What a beautiful text it talks about it. Okay, then what happens? Then talks, there are verses goes from verse number 32, let us say from 32 onwards it goes, talks about the Jnana Kandam. From 32 it goes really long list, it goes almost 50. 32 to 50 talks about the Jnana Kandam, about this Upanishadic portion of knowledge. So let us read verse number 32. Karma kandasya mahatmyam gyatva yogi tyajet sudhe punya papadvayam tyaktva jnana kande pravartate. Beautiful points. First, whoever wants to come to the self-knowledge, Jnana Kandam, this is the problem. As you know, especially with your preference to yoga, all over the world, without following yama and niyama, without asana suddhi, yoga people does pranayama, then comes dhyana. Only they create confusion for themselves and for others, and of course lot of arrogance. And especially when they are successful, they don't care anybody anything. When that success falls down, they become miserable in their life. Because there is no gradual process. It is jumping. So also here, people without understanding karma kanda, without experiencing, without doing karma kanda, without doing daily action that are to be done, the mandatory actions in details are not done at all, or something little bit understood. Oh, I understand. And they want to get exposed to Vedanta. Then finally what happens? Vedanta does not work at the right moment. Only psychological issue, psychological problem. That's why he highlights very carefully. Karma kandasya mahatmyam gyatva. The person has to understand the benefit of the Vedic rituals. So how can you understand? Unless you do it. Unless you do it, unless you have gone through, unless you have done something, unless you have that maturity, you cannot. And that person is called a karma yogi. Because the one who is no more interested, or who was no more interested, let us say, this is called karma yogi, the one who is no more interested in kamya karma. And of course, the nitya naimitya karma does because it is to be done, continues. And there is a healthy attitude. That's why a karma yogi, having understood the benefit of Vedic rituals, now what should do? Now should renounce. What he should renounce? Both papam and punyam. So whatever good thing you have, give it up. Whatever bad thing you have, give up. Because one need to also grow out of both punyam and papam. Because unless you grow out of punyam and papam, please understand, definitely you cannot be available for yourself. That's why you need to have the understanding that you are working because you are working. You are functioning because you are functioning. There should not be any trace of anything at all. Just it happens. And moreover, it happens because of your prarabdha. That's why when you do something, You don't have to, go for longing, or it should not long at all. Okay, as the situation unfolds, let it happen. And only then what happens, you discover slowly, you are neither interested in punyam nor interested in papam. And that person is available here for this self-knowledge, for this jnana kind of. And only that person will be available. Or else what will happen? Either there will be sense of guilt, sense of regret, sense of repression, all sort of things will continue because of papam. And of course punyam, the sense of pride, arrogance, success. Again, because of those things, you are not available for the teaching either. So both are not really healthy, both are not good either. So only when the person who is free from, then only is exposed to. Even though this is the process, we say very carefully, even if you are relatively free, please get exposed to the teaching, so that through the teaching you should be available more and more. And what is that teaching? The verse number 33 beautifully talks about this teaching aspect. It says, Atma varetu drashtavyaha shrutavyetyadi yat shruti sasebhya tat prayatnena muktida hetudayini. Such a beautiful way looking at this text. Says, first of all, 2 points highlights. That the first thing is, the statement of Shruti is very clear. So how to understand yourself? What are the things to be done? And also learning to give respect, due respect to Shruti. These 2 lines have been created very carefully. So this is first one in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad comes between wife and husband. This is the teaching. Husband, Yajnavalkya, teaches his wife, Maitri. So this is the teaching. Beautiful teaching goes that nobody is dearer to anyone for the sake of that person. No wife is dearer to the husband. Please understand, no wife is dearer to the husband because of the wife. No husband is dearer to wife either because of the husband. So each one is dearer to one's own self because of one's own self. This is the essence. And finally, what is that self? Says, Atma vare drashtavya, shrotabhya, mantabhya, nitidhyasitabhya. This is the statement. It was a really beautiful story was this behind it, so I don't want to take much time. This is Yajnavalkya story here, because then it will be longer. The class will go some other way. So he says, Atma vare tu drashtavya. This is the most important thing to be understood. So here he says, if you take the literal translation, so Atma, one's own self, to be understood. Oh Maitri, it is to be understood. Now literal translation, drashtavya means to be seen. Now how to see? You need to experience. So Atma to be experienced. So in order to experience, what you need to do? Shrotabhya, you need to listen to. Then after listening, what you need to do? Mantabhya. So you have to rationalize. Then after rationalizing, what you need to do? It's exactly like, there's a very beautiful example they give. They like a cow. So cow, when it gets opportunity to eat more food, so everything gulp it. Then whenever leisurely, brings it out, chew it, and again put it back. So you need to do that. Please understand. So you could not digest, so now bring it back. Then he says, this is what people talk, okay? Our Swamiji's talk, not our people. In New Vedantins, I can say, Swamiji's, even if some of the people belongs to Sankara tradition also talk. Then comes Nididhyasitabhya. You have to do meditation. Listen to scriptures, teaching. then chew it, then you need to meditate, experience it. Then only you will be able to understand. But I have to put it very carefully. Atma to be understood, one's own self to be understood. For that, one need to get exposed. One need to listen to this Upanishadic teaching. And of course, when you need to listen to the Upanishadic teaching, now after that you need to contemplate. Why and how contemplate? This is how it happens. When you listen to the teacher and teaching, whatever thinking you have, whatever your habitual error you have, whatever thinking process that you have developed so far, now that gets dismissed while teaching. In fact, there itself mantabhya, mananam is being done. The job of the teaching is not one way. This is what people they forget. This is what I call as Max Muller product. This is called Christianity approach, preaching approach, not teaching approach. So in Shrota, in Shravana, mananam is being done. When you listen to, there is mananam, there is a contemplation. Each and every moment I am hitting you. Please understand, the teacher, the teaching has to hit you to make you to see the limitations of your way of thinking. So that seeing the limitations of your way of thinking, please understand very carefully and clearly, is something to be done regularly. And automatically what happens, then you need to avoid with the teaching. So when you do that, and why it happens, this is because of the teaching. That's why the Veda here, the Shruti, the other name of the Veda is called Shruti, Shrutatvat, because it is heard. And of course, it continues. This is called Karna Parampara. The teacher speaks, the student listens to through the ear. Again understands, again speaks, other student disciple listens to. So this is called Karna Parampara, Shruti, Shrutatvat. So this Veda, the Shruti, here becomes means of knowledge, especially in this place for self-knowledge. So you need to give that much respect to the Shruti, that it is a means of knowledge, or else what will happen, you will just try to find out reasonings. You will try to find out whether it is logical. That is how people talk. Oh, is Veda logical? Hey, we say Veda is not illogical. But we never say Veda is logical. This is called teaching. Veda is not illogical, but at the same time Veda is not logical, because the purpose of Veda is not to teach you logic. Remember this. So that's why he says you need to appreciate, you need to give that much respect to Shruti here as a means of knowledge for liberation. And not only that, it is also indirectly becomes giver of liberation. Because being means of knowledge, it makes you to be a free person. So that's an indirectly giver of liberation. That's why, because of that reason, what to be done? Sasebhya tat prayatnanena. That is to be studied. When you have to do service to the Veda, to the Shruti, that means not necessary that you have to keep and worship every day with phula, chanda, pushpam, dhupam, dipam, etc. No. It is to be studied carefully. And of course, when it says studied with great care, definitely means you have to study under a teacher. Then only you give really proper or due respect to the teaching. Okay, now let's look at the next verse. Duriteshu cha punyeshu yodhi vrittim prachodayat soham pravartate matto jagat sarvam characharam sarvam cha drishyate mattah sarvam cha mailiyate tadbhinno ahamasmiha madbhinno natu kinchana. I can chant once more. The 2 lines I read. Duriteshu cha punyeshu yodhi vrittim prachodayat soham pravartate mattah jagat sarvam characharam sarvam cha drishyate mattah sarvam cha mailiyate न तद भिन्नो हम अस्मिह mad bhinno na tu kinchana. So we really need to look at this beautifully. He says, Duriteshu cha punyeshu yaha dhi vritti prachodayat. So that means when I do something, whether I do papam, durita means papam, or punya karma. So there is intelligence. And he says beautifully, that intelligence is me. So whatever I do, that is me. So I cannot escape from myself. And not only that, beautifully says, Soham pravartate matah jagat sarvam characharam. Starting from within, also this entire universe that you see, whether immovable or immovable, so all of them come to existence because of me, and of course they get absorbed in me. Such a beautiful way of looking at this whole thing. That's why, please may you know that there is no difference between them and me. Neither they are different from me, nor I am different from them. So that means in this world, in this universe, there is nothing different from me. Everything is in me, I am in everything. Why and how? This indirectly it talks. We'll be seeing also next Pratibimba concept. Here it talks, highlights about this, that Jagat Upadana Karana. Ishvara becomes Upadana Karana, becomes material cause. So, me as material cause, the whole universe is born out of me, and again everything also get absorbed in me. As in a common way we see the papam and punyam are different. For a common people, papam and punyam are different, are separated, they are away from me. But no, that intelligence which makes me to do papam or punyam is me. So that everything is me only. So that's why I don't have to really worried. Whatever I see, whatever I experience is me. So that's why I don't have to create any difference in me. If I create any differences in me, definitely there will be fear, there will be complications in my life. We'll see more of it in the next class. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.